Hey guys, so obviously I'm trying to pump out as much content as I can, so I figured while I'm driving home from work, I'll kind of explain, I guess, my backstory on the different things I like and how I got into it. So let's start off with Star Wars, since obviously that's where the majority of my collection and whatnot comes from. So I was born in 1991. Obviously, the first Star Wars came out in 1977. The other ones came out in the 80s. They were re-released in theaters when I was like 6 or so. Obviously, I've seen the movies before that because we had copies of the VHS tapes and whatnot. So whenever I was a kid, my dad was like, "Oh, hey, you should watch this show called Star Wars, this movie called Star Wars." And I thought it was the coolest thing ever as a kid, seeing, because I was really into space and whatnot. I mean, being from Houston and having the Space Center over here, I went and hung out at the Space Center as a kid. So seeing these battles in space and all this cool stuff, I just was instantly drawn to it. And my dad, he grew up with it. Like, he was about my age or a little bit older whenever the first one came out, which he saw that multiple times with his dad, which, funny enough, I'm talking about the Space Center. My grandpa, his dad, used to work for the Space Center, and I don't recall exactly what he did. There's something about something with programming the rockets or something that went out. I don't completely 100% recall what he did, but that was a way that they bonded back then with all that. He had a bunch of the toys and whatnot. So sorry, I got this seasonal change cough going down. So he had all the toys back in the day, which he's building a Star Wars room. I might show some of that in a future video just to kind of show off his stuff. But whenever I was a kid and all the Power of the Force stuff was coming out, he kind of was buying all that, selling it at toy shows and whatnot. Any extras that we had or whatnot, or just buying me stuff, he would get me a couple of those toys, which one day I'm going to do a video where I'm going to go pull all the Star Wars figures that I have at his house. Because he says I have a bunch of stuff in his attic. The one thing that sucks, though, is he's got a bunch of ships and stuff of mine that he kind of displayed, because he has a, like, I think my TIE Fighter. I don't know if he has the Millennium Falcon or not. That might be up there, but we'll do a video where we go over there one day and go grab all my stuff. My mom had a bunch of figures and stuff that was at my grandpa's house, so that's actually in my attic right now. The one cool thing, which you saw in the last video, was I had a bunch of the episode 1 pod racers, the Micro Machine stuff, sitting in my on my shelves and stuff. So that was a cool thing. Whenever I went over there, my grandpa passed, I was going through things and found that, which I forgot I even had those. There's a lot of stuff like that. I guess the next thing would be the Pokemon stuff. Like, it was just one of those things where the game came out on a Game Boy. All my friends back in elementary school were playing it, so of course I got drawn into it. I was watching the anime when it was on TV, started buying the Pokemon cards, which funny enough, some of those, they took them because we were playing with them at school and we weren't supposed to. So I have a bunch of probably valuable cards that even with a bad grade, that are probably up there. another big chunk of them I sold whenever I wanted a PS2 back in 2001 or 2002, whenever those came out. So ended up selling all my Pokemon cards and my Nintendo 64 to get this PS2. However, my dad recently found a bunch of the Gen 2 cards at his house, so he kind of salvaged what he could from that. So that's kind of cool. I have that sitting at my house too. We'll go through those in a video. Next big thing is, like, I think it was 3rd grade, my friends started getting me onto Dragon Ball Z. So I remember back when I was watching all that, the Namek and the Frieza saga were on, so I kind of skipped the Saiyan saga in a way. I mean, I ended up getting the DVDs and watching all that later, but yeah, I started off just watching the Namek and the Frieza saga, so I got to see Goku go Super Saiyan for the first time. I watched it all the way up until the end of the Kid Buu saga. I never saw GT until I bought the DVDs years later, because they had the complete set at Walmart for like $30 or something. So I bought that. So it was one of those things where back in the PS2 era, I ended up buying Dragon Ball Z Budokai and a couple games on the Game Boy Advance, and like pretty much the majority of the PlayStation games I had bought, except for a couple of them. Bought the cards, of course. Like, I think there's a card of anything. I pretty much bought a bunch of that. So I've got a bunch of figures at the house. I think some of those might be in the garage, some of them might be in the attic. I know I had these big, like 10 or 12 inch figures. My grandma bought me a couple as a kid. Then I ended up buying this Vegeta one a couple years ago. And, yeah. What else? Oh, Yu-Gi-Oh! That was another thing. Obviously, big fan of that. I got a Slifer tattoo on my hand, which everyone's like, why'd you get Slifer? I'm like, Slifer's my favorite god card. Like, why would I not get Slifer? So, that was actually the first graded card, which I'm going to have a whole video up about the god cards and talking some other Yu-Gi-Oh stuff. But, you know, I think I got into Yu-Gi-Oh probably around this cough is killing me, bro. So I got into Yu-Gi-Oh probably about 2003, 2004-ish or so. I don't recall. But one of those other things where I don't even know where my super valuable first edition cards went, with like my Blue Eyes and my Dark Magician and all that. I never got an Exodia piece back then whenever those initial packs came out, but I know I got a Blue Eyes and a Dark Magician. Pulled those out of the packs, but also I have the starter decks too, which is kind of weird because I don't know where all those good ones are, but I know I have a whole case full of super old cards, first editions that I pulled from those original sets back in the day. Which the cool thing is, I was actually collecting cards and whatnot back in the day. When I was collecting cards as a kid, you can go to any store now and I can just drop disposable money on whatever packs I want. But the one cool thing is, back in the day, if I had a couple bucks here or there, or my dad was going to buy me some cards. There was a Bedrock City Comics literally a block away from my house. You just had to go around the corner and boom, you're there. So that was pretty cool. Because also back in the day, my dad was looking for either Star Wars figures, or he was into collecting baseball cards for a while. Kind of got off of that, but now he's just straight collecting Star Wars stuff. But yeah, I guess that's about it for this video. I'm gonna be dropping videos pretty regularly, either just to me rambling about this stuff, or you know, the other stuff I was talking about, where I'm gonna go get cards. If I pull a rare, then send it off to PSA to get graded or whatnot. I've got a couple that I want to get graded right now. I'm gonna wait until after I get back from Ohio and Vegas this summer, because I'm trying to just, you know, save a little bit of money for that at the moment. But when I get back, I'm gonna do that. One cool thing that'd be cool to do with this channel is make it to where, like, when we start generating money, I can just use that money to send stuff to get graded and do like little giveaways and giving away graded cards and whatnot. It's one of those things where we're going to see how the channel progresses and what we can do and get away with and whatnot. But until next time, guys.